Hey guys! Over here!
Y'all taking a breather, or what?
The bridge is out!
Do you think you can give us a hand?
Let me see. For $2,000.
Hilarious.
Characters are still split up, but they have managed to run into each other again. So what's been going on with Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa? Well, I guess it really doesn't matter, because we've been following around Barret and Red 13. Unfortunately, Barret and Red 13 haven't really been interacting with each other at all. Haven't been going and developing their characters, anything. And I think that was a real shame that they didn't do something like that, just to give these two some time to interact, because there is a degree of hostility between the two of them that doesn't... you saw it at the end of Remake, because Red 13 doesn't appear in the game until the end, where Red just, like, he calls Barret a sack of shit for some reason. It's like, what is going on? Why does Red just instantly hate Barret? And then you have these two characters that are supposed to be at odds with each other, forced to travel through the mines together. You'd think it would be just a gold mine of character moments between the two of them. But, you know, the developers decided to just let this opportunity pass by, and the two are just moving through without talking to each other. How convenient that someone has decided to keep these vending machines stocked in a road that no one uses anymore. This game, just like in the Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out a few years earlier, has the potion shops. Now, the game does go forward and actually have real shops where people you talk to, you go inside, you talk to them, all that stuff. But it has these little vending machine things that you saw in Remake. And the point of, so you would be able to buy stuff while moving through the dungeons. But it always seems to, when you come across one of these things, have some kind of a sale going on. Like, oh, well, there's like, you can buy 1 Phoenix Down or 2 Phoenix Downs or a Phoenix Down and a potion or whatever at a reduced rate. And in Remake, every time I ran across this, I always thought, like, oh, well, you're going to want to buy it because... like, this is your opportunity to buy a Phoenix Down for 100 gil instead of 500 or whatever the price is. And, like, you'd be a dumbass to not stock up when you can stock up. Unfortunately, playing through Remake, I had found that, like, about 3/4 of the way through that I was buying so much stuff that I didn't need to use. I'd buy a Phoenix Down. I ended up having, like, well, I gotta buy the Phoenix Down because it's a... when am I going to find it again this cheap? I already had 10 Phoenix Downs, now I have 11. Later on in the game, I have 15, I have 20, because I just wasn't using them. So a lot of the purchasing of these items proved to be a little bit unnecessary. I found the same thing with materia in the Remake. As opposed to this game, which I'm finding the situation is a little bit different. In Remake, you get plenty of materia just finding it. Either like quest rewards, or you get them from Chadley, or you just find it on the ground. You find enough materia to equip all of your characters. Now, in this game, you could buy materia in Remake, but you didn't have to. In this game, it's kind of the same thing. I'm finding enough materia to equip my characters, but not enough so far to fully equip the characters. So, I have bought materia in this game, whereas in Remake I simply didn't even see a purpose to doing it. Anyway, that was a little bit off topic. Let's push this minecart into something.
in business. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
$2,000. And don't you forget.
You know, I'm not entirely sure what this $2,000 reference is that they keep making. Aerith had said something about that, and nobody understood, nobody quite got it. If I were to take a guess, I'd say it's a reference to Cloud.
I don't think we can open it from here.
See a button or a lever?
One sec.
Thanks, we owe you.
Yep, $2,000.
That's fair.
I think it might be a reference back to the original game where Cloud demanded 2,000 gil in order to go on the second bombing mission. So it's like, well, that's the going rate for somebody to do something for you. So $2,000, everyone's asking for $2,000 to do the dumbest of shit. It's a joke. So I guess a running joke between the characters.
Then it's time to rock Cranky Boy here back to sleep.
Oh, we have a boss battle, and I am going to speed the game up so that we'll get through this a little bit quicker. This was a little bit of a frustrating fight. It wasn't a difficult one. I got through it in the first try, but it's an enemy that regenerates its health to an extent. It doesn't actually regenerate its health bar, but it has these secondary portions, its arm, its head, its spine, that it will actually go and regenerate if you destroy them. So you'll damage the head, and then it'll go into stagger, and then you can hurt it. But then after its stagger ends, it regenerates the head, it regenerates the arm. And that's so you have to start over again, knocking off the appendages and then attacking the body again. So we've reached the second stage. It gets this kind of a rock sword. So it's another thing that you have to take out. So you'll have to take, it seems anyway, what you got to do is you got to damage the arm. You got to take out the arm, deplete its HP, then deplete the HP of the head, and then deplete the HP of the spine. And then when that happens, you'll stagger it. Or I guess maybe you could stagger it beforehand, but that's how you lower its defenses, so you're able to do a lot of damage. So it seems like what you want to do is you want to fill your ATB gauge. Make sure you have your ATB gauge filled at the point in which you either stagger it or you destroy the spine and head. So you can really just start to unleash lots of firepower on this fucker as soon as he goes down, because what's happening here is he reformed, got off a stagger, and it's going to regenerate its body parts. And I'll just do the summon of these Mog guys, just a Mog trio, I think it's called, in order to push forward, get this done a little bit quicker. So it wasn't a terribly difficult fight, but it was one that, it's a little bit frustrating, because if you're not quick enough to, see, it regenerated its arm. If you're not quick enough to take it out while it's staggered or while its arm is busted, it'll just sort of reset the fight to an extent, and that can be irritating. It did get a little bit bigger, didn't it? It's almost dead. And for those not familiar with the original game, this was not an enemy in the original. This was just something they threw into the remake. Since I didn't know this fight was coming, I didn't try to equip these characters with more magic materia, though lightning materia seems to work against it. Lightning spells do like disproportionate damage. So I basically burned through their MP to kill this thing. Take it out.
That's a mighty fine staircase. Thank you kindly.
What was that monster called? Mithril beast, or I don't know, whatever. It's dead. Moving on. Man, Barrett is just fucking things up all over the place. Like, oh, there's some crystals in the wall. You know, better shoot him. There's this funny little scene and dialogue exchange between Barrett and Tifa in Remake, where characters get separated and you play as Barrett, and he, in order to make his way through some of the like areas of the dungeon, just starts shooting holes in things, busting stuff up with his gun. And then Tifa, when she encounters him and sees him doing that, she's like, have you just been blowing stuff up? You just been shooting everything? And he's like, yeah. Like, what do you expect me to do? And he's still doing it here. Everything gets wrecked quicker, though. It wasn't like the original game, you had to stand there. Now, like, Barrett will, like, you got a bunch of boxes, he'll just, like, and, like, within a second or so, all of them will get wrecked. Whereas in Remake, you had to stand there, he's like, he would gun it down, it'd bust open, and he'd switch to the next one, and then switch to the next one. It would take more time. This, it's just so much quicker. Here they are.
Hey!
What took you?
Stumbled on the killer rock formation and couldn't tear ourselves away. Right?
The ground here could give way at any moment. We shouldn't linger.
True, but don't forget, Shinra knows we're here now. Might be more of them outside.
That doesn't make any difference to me. I ain't stopping. Not for them or anyone. Not after Midgar. Not after what we saw. We all know what's at stake here. The fate of the world. So if they get in our way, that's on them.
Right. Let's get back to tailing the guys in robes. They're our best chance of finding Sephiroth.